There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. My brothers and sisters in Christ, these words from the first reading of John today give us a very important reminder of the true nature of love. I spoke in my reflection video yesterday about how, setting all other things aside, pursuit of virtue, of great knowledge, of righteousness, of orthodoxy, nothing matters. None of the boxes we check, the actions that we do, nothing matters if we're not animated by love. Everything we have and do is gift to us to be perfected in God's grace, to be perfected in love, the love of God. The love of God whose image and likeness we're created in. We're made for that perfect charity. It's been disfigured by sin, and so day by day, in cooperation with His grace, we're restored to that image of love. And so we must love one another. We can't claim to be of God. We can't claim to be Christian, even if we do all these wonderful things that fall under the label, if we do not do so out of charity, if we don't act towards one another in charity. And so a lot of what can enter the picture when we're imperfect in the charity is fear. And we see this in the reading. The fear often comes in because it's a sign of where we're imperfect. It's where we are worried or where everything is about the self still. And so whether that is fear of something happening to me or fear of the other and somehow, coming, invading my space in the sense of what is mine becoming yours. Now, that's not to say that, for example, if someone tries to mug you, that they have the right. But when we speak of, Christ of give the cloak or turn the other cheek, what it's speaking of is, do I respond to the other person out of fear? Is my primary instinct in all things about myself, or is it about the good of others? And that is what perfect charity does, because we see Christ in the other. Even when the other is sinful, we see Christ in them and we long for the good of the other. And so, in the times when we're fully cooperating with God's grace and we're motivated by love, there is not fear. There's no room for fear of anything in life because we constantly long for the good of the other. We constantly long for God, and we have no care, there's no sense of self needing to be provided. All we know is if we love God and neighbor, we have all that we need. And so that sets aside even fear of death, fear of suffering, fear of loss, all of these things. Because in the love of God, none of those possibilities create fear. When we're in the communion and love of God, we already have everything that we need. And so what can we fear in that scenario? And so, my brothers and sisters, this reading today is a wonderful opportunity to reflect on the question of fear. What is it that is still a source of fear of anxiety in our life? What truly scares us? And if so, where is that a sign of either a lack of surrender to God or of charity that is still imperfect in us? Places where we still need God's healing touch to purify us, to heal us. And we all have them. But we need to recognize them and invite the divine physician to come heal us. Because in that wonderful love of God, there is nothing to fear. And so we should not let it dominate us anymore in a world in which fear has such a strong hold on people and their intentions, their actions. May we, who are followers of Christ, beloved sons and daughters of God, no longer react to fear, but only our will that we may love as He has loved us. May God bless you all.